All right. How you
Okay.
think? Hello, everyone. Lord
Hello,
have
hello,
mercy.
hello.
Yes, girl. I'm like, but yeah, the reunion. eh, Do you think it needed three?
Well, well, let's say what we're here to talk about. So it's your girl, Brandy Janae, honey, and it is Word on the Curb. We are here to talk about. We're gonna start off with Love and Mirror Huntsville reunion part 3 that just aired last night at what, like 8 o'clock? Is it?
Yes.
8 o'clock? Okay. Eastern time, I think that is. Anyway, we're gonna discuss that, and then we're just gonna get into some more topics of the week, okay? So we can start bringing you more what we like to do.
Okay.
Chit chat. Let's chat about it. Make sure you subscribe to our channels. I'll put my channel handle in the chat,
Okay. Look, bear
and
with me.
then hit the bell notification. And comment. Let us know what you think. So let's go and get into this dry ass Love and Mirror Huntsville reunion part 3. That's why y'all see me here. Listen, it's Sunday. It's a lazy day. It didn't snow like they. Well, I'm glad the ice didn't come like they said
Yeah.
today. So fine, but I thought we was a little bit clear, even though it was raining and it was about 30 something degrees, and I should know better. But I woke up today and I looked outside and I was like, what? Like, who asked? Who asked for this?
I know it. My
It was,
daughter said the same thing. She came this morning to pick up her kids. And she goes, "It really was snowing back." And she came back from Chicago, and
mm-hmm.
she was like, "Oh, it was snowing bad, bad." But once she got here, she said it wasn't so bad. They had started working on the streets, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I'm tired
Yeah,
of I'm
honey.
tired of
So
the snow. I'm tired of the
I'm
ice.
seeing y'all what Love and Mirror Huntsville was giving us. What you say, dry and through. Like those
Tired
are the
and
words
through
of the day, dry and
and
through.
through. I was
That
wet
is,
at
oh, I
the
should
end.
have named it. I'm gonna change the name of my doggone. I'm gonna put that on my doggone. The name of the video, dry and through,
And
because
through.
that is what they had to give after this last Love and Mirror Huntsville reunion. And then when I think about it, throw the whole damn season in the trash. Now you
Do you think the reunion was better than the season though?
no. No, not at all. I didn't learn a damn thing from this reunion. How about that? Like even, and it felt, I feel like, and we'll go ahead and get into, like, I guess step by step what happened.
Mhm.
But just coming off of the fact that we have that information about the deleted scene, that deleted scene is circulating. We do have a previous video where we talk about it. I think this third part feels just off balance
Yeah.
and out of place. You know what I mean? Like it just is like, because I'm still trying to figure out how did y'all get to the rest of this from that one part, you know what I mean, portion
Yeah.
that was exited out. We did notice that Destiny was not on the stage for a certain portion, and then she came back on the stage. At least I noticed that. Um, but let's get into it. So we come back and we leave off where Martell has said that crude comment about he slept with Trish and then say, no, I'm just playing. So we come back where Carlos is asking Ken, did he think that was funny? Did he, because Martell said it was a joke. So he want, and Ken says, no, he does not. So
Mhm.
what do you think about at that point Mel kind of confronts Martell. This is the first time we see her talk to him directly, to be quite
Exactly. Yes, she did.
honest.
I said she got a bit animated
Yeah,
because I think
yeah.
she had her stuff set for him. But I thought she wasn't supposed to talk to him, or he ain't supposed to talk to her. But I thought with her being a little animated and trying to get in his butt how he talked to women, but you don't have much to say. I don't think he's scared of Ken, because I think he would give him the business too. I guess
absolutely.
I just don't think he just thought Trisha was worth it.
I don't even know if it was that. I do, I like the mail called him out because she should have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is a problem. Like I don't like men that do that either. Like you seem really, quick to want to, go back and forth with female.
Yeah.
But back off if it's a man. However, Martell is just immature in general.
Yeah.
And so to your point, I think he would give anybody the business, but
Uh-huh.
I do think he don't really want it with Ken. Cause if he did, he would. He come for the other two because he know they not gonna pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, so y'all ain't say nothing to Mel. Shut up. Like, here I go. You sound just like a little kid, though. Like, y'all don't say nothing to Mel, say something. Like, you little kid. So yeah, I think he knew I think he doesn't want it with Ken. And so he, is gonna behave in a certain manner when it comes to Ken. He know he out of pocket, but he don't want it with Ken either,
Yeah. And I thought also when Carlos had asked him, is it true, or basically you said that Trisha wasn't fine enough or hot enough for you to sleep with. I felt like in that moment, Mel saved him from answering that question, or that's the way they edited it anyways, because then she jumped on Chris. Like, didn't you do this or that, And because I don't think he really wanted to say it to her face. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, well, let's just think about it. It's rude, you know what I mean? Like, yes. I guess at some point, like we know Martell is immature, and I'm not saying it's rude for somebody to ask that the way that they did. You know what I mean? Like, so like whatever his response would be just as rude,
Yeah.
I think she was pivoting just kind of to maybe say like, well, this is something that's true. That, you know what I mean? Like, and y'all, brushing over it, which it seemed to be a lot of things they just brushed over, in my opinion. They brought out Marquez. And what I tell my mom, like, and he made half a fool out of himself, Hi, honey. Hey, hi, Azar. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, he made a damn fool out of himself, which he always does. Who expected anything more? But I just really feel like we didn't get anything from any of it.
Yeah. Other than what's his name? Ken called him a bum.
Now, let's talk about that. Is there so Ken being the man that steps in and he's dating Trish and she has 2 children, so he is at least on most accords what we would think any man would do is stepping up to the plate, kind of coming in, helping her out where things fall short,
Okay.
And for most of us, we think that is kind of where men places are or should come in and maybe fill places, fill voids, let's say that. And so him as still being married to this lady and having the feelings that he has, is there any way that Ken is out of line for the way that he might speak to Marquez? Is it warranted?
I don't think it's warranted unless Marquez is coming to him crazy, but Marquez just cry a lot for me. So I don't know. And I think Marquez is feeling some kind of way about Ken because Ken supposedly in 2017 had sent that text or whatever.
That's what he keeps saying, honey. He won't let it go. I think it's clearly Martell 2.0. He clearly know what he's talking about because he will not let it go.
Yeah. So, and I'm thinking when Marquez told him but Trisha didn't want to marry him, and I'm really feeling that way. She don't want to marry that man because she would have been got divorced. And who really gets out of a marriage and then jumps into a whole new one?
And this is my point about the reunion being dry and through,
Mm-hmm.
and why we didn't learn anything on the reunion, because those are the things that they should have been talking about. I don't know if they did talk about it and they threw it on the floor. We don't know if that conversation that got deleted just ruined everything and they had to hurry up and get through the rest of what they needed to film, because there
Uh-huh.
feels like there was a lot of gaps in what should have been talked about. Like, why is it that we didn't talk about that? Trish absolutely did indicate to her own children. She took it back. She said, not anytime soon. When they asked when would she be getting married, she said, not anytime soon. And then she kind of drew back on that because she realized that means no. You know what I'm saying? Like, not anytime soon. And you were very quick on that. So
Yeah.
then she kind of took it back a little bit to say, like, well, I know that there's some things that I need to work on within myself, so it won't be soon. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of brushed it off a little bit. Now, why is it Carlos didn't bring that up?
I don't know that, because to me that's the whole purpose of them kind of being on the show.
What else are they here
And
for? Right. We like her and the
I,
Martell thing, like we don't even really care about that. And at this
no,
point, you've already pegged her as this like liar type of character. So okay, and I don't know if she don't realize it or not. Because it's funny that she actually mentioned, and I didn't even say this to Mama, but she did mention, like, when he first denied him knowing her, she was
yeah,
like, "Well, I wasn't sure how this works." And I told Mom, I said she always gave me the impression like she is nervous on television, with the
yeah.
cameras and stuff. Like I get a nervous type of energy from her. And so I thought that that's what some of it was, but I do agree that what are you confused about? Is it the truth? Because I think there's a way for you to be confused, and we all understand that you're confused. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can't kind of play like you this smart person, and then you be confused about something so minute
Mine.
and simple. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, that doesn't really work.
yeah. I thought also. I seen an interview with her and Carlos King and Dr. Heavenly, and she said that's half of her reason that she was nervous. And but because that's when Dr. Heavenly said it just comes across that you're lying. But I'm not interested in them.
Neither
At
am
all.
I. If when it's all said and done, neither am I. And the reason is because you don't seem forthcoming. We've already dealt with this one person, Dusty.
Girl. Let's get this girl
I'm gonna
straight.
go ahead and start calling her that too. My bad. But we've already had this one person, a part of the cast, that you've got to like pull anything out
Yeah.
of, like anything, something, honey. And we ready to throw her back, and there is no need to have this other, I don't care. And the situation is really not that, in my opinion, it's not that like, and I don't want to use the word tumultuous. It's just not that like scandalous, or like it's not that juicy for me to be concerned with how they work
Yeah.
it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I hope that they do. You know what I mean? Ken seems to be a good enough guy. He, like I said, he seems to present himself as the type of woman a single mom would want to love and enjoy and have a part of her life. You know what I mean? As the sense of he's not there just to date her. He's there to come in and help, And with single moms, that's kind of something that they need, is help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um But I mean, again, I'm not interested in seeing how this play out. You know, she's
Oh,
been separated from her husband for 5 years. Like I said, I agree with Martell. It's the smartest thing he ever said in the whole time he has been on Love and Marriage Huntsville. But we had that little glimpse that must have been what Melody fell in love with. That little thing right there. But he told him real point blank and simple, like, listen, let her get a divorce. You know, like you shouldn't be the one kind of pushing her or even the reason why. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like your presence shouldn't be the reason why she's going ahead and getting this divorce. You should let her do that on her own. Now the difference is if you have a time lapse or a time, frame on when you expect that to happen, then that's kind of a you problem. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like where you just have to decide if you're gonna stick this out or move around. But I think that was the best advice Martell could have given him. He didn't seem to take it, but and I think it was the best advice ever. It was like let her be the one to do that, and you move around that. You know what I mean? But I do think Ken seems to be pressing her. I think his and it maybe for me I might be speaking from my own, like, I guess, past traumas with men or something, because his persistence in wanting to get that divorce, that's something that kind of it freaks me out for her a
yeah, it
little bit.
does.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like, why are you so? You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why. It could be
yeah,
me.
yeah. I don't like that. And then how he said, basically like taking ownership of the children. And I think,
I think he oversteps the way he speaks
yes.
to that boy, or excuse me, let me call them the man a man. Sorry, like, but the way he addresses him, I do feel a small tinge of an overstep. Because that is their dad, number one, whether
Yeah,
wherever whatever way he is lacked and unlacked, however way that falls, that's who he is to them. And you can't care about them so much that you would be so, quick to kind of do that to their dad. Like
yeah.
I think that's an overstep.
And plus, he doesn't have any children of his own, right?
No, and I think that's probably close to why. He
Yeah.
has another, so I think he like has another child that he helps raises, from a previous relationship, but it's not his biologically.
Oh, I don't know that whole situation. And Marquez and his crying. I just don't see. I'm like, okay, when did Trish become a engineer? While she was married?
Well,
Because
no, I feel like so that goes to why I always enjoyed this show, but oddly enough, that's the great part about them highlighting a place like Huntsville, Alabama. I think there are plenty of engineers that are there because of where they are, because that is where the Rocket Center is, because that's kind of a lot of the base of how the money and businesses and stuff like that have come into that city. You'd be surprised at how many engineers and just architects, things like that
yeah,
that there are really are, and that are of our
yeah.
complexion.
But
So
I was wondering, like, okay, what did Marquez do while they were married? Because he just seems like,
he always kind of been this, yeah.
yes, I mean, he seems boy like to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was gonna say he always kind of been this F up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that impression too. And it's probably true. You know what I mean? But you got to think about them being in high school, get like, I think that they just kind of rushed into things. I do think that. And she went to school, you know what I mean? And like her being an engineer, I feel like that I was just pointing out that I feel like it's more common
Yes.
than not that would be like even going to Southern schools and being brought up in that area, you would probably have a lot of science and math
Yeah.
majors because that would kind of fall in STEM
Yeah.
programs. Okay, and if y'all know anything about STEM, you know where
Mhm.
they come from. So with that, I'm just saying, as far as that immature maturity level, I think that's always been there. Which I think that's what she tries to express, and this is the problem I have with Trish, is that I just can't seem to get a full sentence out of her. It frustrates me just to listen to her. Like,
Yes.
she like, yeah, and that's what be pissing me off. Like, what be pissing you off though? Because I didn't hear you say what be pissing you off. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that wig was just irritating me too bad. I just like, oh my God.
It was better. The worst wig she had was the wig on the girls' trip. That
Uh-huh.
curly,
That
like from
crochet mess.
1992. Like, where did you go and find that hair, girl? Where? Well, we haven't seen nothing that looked that bad in a long freaking
I'm
time.
like, these
She
women
went
don't get
in the crate
stylists.
to go pull that out.
So okay, so after they discuss their thing and we get past them, and then what is next? The girls trip.
The girls' trip. Yeah, that's what they come with, the girls' trip.
And so, how do you feel about the interaction between Melody and Destiny?
So again, here we are with this gap, because we don't have a clear understanding of where this conversation that was deleted, where did this take place? Because how is it that we talking about the girls' trip? I don't like after that. So in that case, the conversation, I guess, would be none. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, after you done had that type of exchange, if that happened prior to, which we are led to believe. Um, and so it's interesting that Destiny cleared up exactly what she said when she said, I mouthed to her, I'm sorry for what I had to do to you. I was interested to know what that meant. What is it that you had to do to her? Because is it anything like this bullshit that you pulled tonight? You know what I mean? Is that the well, I'm sorry for what I had to do to you? Is that because what is it that I had to do to you?
and why?
Right.
I don't.
But
I'm
we
not
didn't
caring
get
for
to
Destiny.
anything.
I'm not caring for Destiny. And then how Melody has said that on the trip she was kind of basically what it was Destiny word stalking, but how she kept whispering in her ear or and wanting to like talk to her. And I just really feel like she's desperate to be Melody's friend. And so if I can't be your friend, I'm going to drag your name all through the mud.
I agree. I'm not interested in Destiny either.
Mhm.
I think after the deleted scene was deleted, but we was able to see it.
Yeah.
Like after that happened, I mean, even prior to then, I was indifferent about Destiny. I had no desire to see her any further, but it kind of was like, and she was there. It didn't really matter, type of energy. At this point, it's definitive for me. I don't need to see her again. Like you can go ahead, you know what I mean, take her back wherever she came from and let her go ahead and do her thug dizzle.
Yeah.
Let her go and thug it out. And we cool. Because I again we got this lapse and I just don't she just don't give us anything.
Uh-huh.
That, like that's it. At the end of the day, she just doesn't give us anything. And with this, I'm sorry for what I did. It does imply that you betray her in some type of way. I don't know, and so why is it that you wouldn't be forthcoming with what that is? You know what I mean? To me.
Oh, that's what she's because they're talking about. She said that on the girls' trip. So would that be her talking about when she said that Mel's mom was pimping her out?
I don't know. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Is that we don't know. What are you referring to? Because she had the grooming thing, even though that came up on reunion part 2, and that seems to be where Mel was focused at, even in her explanation. And I think that's just because she got to get more in depth as far as what Destiny had to say, about it. But Destiny had mentioned that in some other conversation that she had. I have
Mhm.
to kind of go back and try to remember, but I know like that wasn't the first time, like that had been mentioned in the sense of at that reunion out of
Mhm.
Destiny's mouth. There was just no further explanation to,
Yeah.
so because we know that she's already implied that she could have had a threesome with them.
Yes.
We just had no further information about what it
But
is she
yeah.
meant and where
Mhm.
she was going with that. You know what I mean? And so once we get there, like, yeah, I don't know how you desperate to be somebody's friend and think that this is the way you do it.
Yeah.
I'm confused about that. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, I am confused about if she wants to be her friend or not. Like I'm confused about that. I think she wants something. I'm
Okay.
not clear, I'm not really clear what that is. It's something that you want because you wouldn't be, doing all of this. She wants
Yeah.
some, but I don't know what that is because you won't be forthcoming about your own thing. You seem to come out of your pocket, or when it comes to mail, come out your bag. That's what I guess is the better phrase. But yeah, you seem to come out your bag on that one, like because we all confused. Like, well, um, and so for that, we don't need to see you anymore because we confused with you, and you've been on our TVs for way too long. At least with Tiffany, you know, she just tried to play into the messy role until she could no more.
She couldn't take it. If you're gonna be messy, you have to be messy and stand on in it, like Dr. Heavenly.
And Kenya, now I would give Kenya that too. She gonna
Yeah.
stand 10 toes down in her shit. Like
Yes. So
she
yes.
gonna like excuse me. Like
So what do you think about? So after that, then everybody comes back out, and basically, let's get on the Stormy.
I think with that, right, that's where Stormy comes back. And then as the surprise guest, of course, we guessed it. I told y'all, it just
Yeah.
made the most sense.
Sense.
Again, she left in the middle of the season. There was no explanation. Nobody asked about her. In the episodes to
Yeah.
come. So yeah, it just made sense that she would be the one to come out. It's interesting again. There was no conversation about her friendship with Trish because she is the reason why Trish is on our TV screens. But we didn't hear about that. She seemed very coy about the way she addressed her exit. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe this is the part of being able to get out the contract or something. This third part of this reunion was very strange and weird.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it felt like y'all was just getting through, or maybe that's just my feeling getting through watching it. Because maybe it wasn't that bad while they was filming it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I am getting that y'all just had to get to the end of this thing, and we was getting there as fast as we could.
Uh-huh. Or they took a lot of out of it, cut a lot of things
I
out.
can't imagine what they did cut out and left that in. You know what I mean? Like I
I think they should
cannot
have
imagine.
seems like when they talked about the girls' trip, they should have had Stormy on then.
And she wasn't out there then. You're
No,
right.
so she could have talked about, because that's the reason why she left, and then we could have gotten what pissed her off. But she said,
But like I said, I don't know if that had something to do with her being able to get out of a contract the way that she did. Like we not privy to that type of information.
Yeah.
What we do know and what we can understand is that whatever contract Carlos got, it's not ironclad like that Bravo fucking contract, because his damn cast run amok on the social medias and everything. However, there might be some business people like Stormy who will adhere to whatever it is they signed or what have you. So again, I'm just speculating. This is all alleged, but I'm only saying this got to be the only reason why it wasn't shown, because I can't imagine that they would film that being shown and not show that. Like the fact that we got what we got, whatever is on the cutting room floor must really be trash. Right?
Yeah.
It
Definitely.
go back to, and we can talk about this more on Wednesday. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. Housewives from a housewife, baby. I hope you okay. But we gonna come with March 3rd with our Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 and everything in between. We're gonna talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Just real quick, a shameless plug. Sorry, honey. I just hyped However, but what I wanted to remind you of is there is an episode during, I think, season 12 where Marlo has the group trip. They went somewhere to Tennessee. They was somewhere at the cabins or something. And Kenya refused to have a one-on-one with Marlo.
With Marlo, yeah.
Now, that's what we seeing it play out. Like she didn't say that out of her mouth, but that's what we watching play out, right? So I feel like this was the worst episode in Real Housewives of Atlanta history, like the very worst, because what happened, we didn't get anything. It was, the whole episode was them in the house and in the driveway, and by the time they got somewhere to go somewhere, we on the next episode, the whole day was gone. But my point with that is, if that's what they had to give us, imagine what it was to be there and have to go through that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of, I'm guessing. So, what I'm interested in, going back to Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all, sorry, I'll take y'all on the trip with my man. Over here now.
Okay. We went around the world.
But, I'm just interested now to see. I don't think Sonny has any information to give, but I'm interested to know what anybody has to say after this reunion played the way that it did. I'm interested to know what is it? Because if this is what we got, I'm wondering, did that conversation shut everything down, and that's why this, is this out in context of the order of events? I don't know. Am I crazy? Do you feel the same way? Does it feel like we're missing a lot in this third?
Yes, I don't even understand. Well, I guess I understand why he brought Sonny back on the stage, but I don't know why. Because all she said was, "I had a good round." Is that right?
And that's what Tisha said. Of course you did. Like, bitch, why are you here? Why are you here?
I just was like, why is she back on the stage? You didn't bring Stormy out for it. She could have not been there too. Because I don't remember them asking her anything, but she said
again, and she was she touched on it, but she didn't. She was very coy, is the word, about the way she approached it. Like, yeah, and because the arrest and some of the fans, like, it was, I don't know if that had anything to do with her contract. That's what I'm saying. It would be interesting for those types of people to come and address that. You know what I mean? Because we didn't get a damn place. Now, like everybody, and Carlos is in his glory. Now, listen, I go up for Carlos just because, you know, he just is. I understand what it is he's doing, and so I go up for him to be successful in that. With that being said, that I can disagree with the way he's going about things. You know what I mean? And still go up for him, you know, at the end of the day. So that's where I'm at here, because it does seem like there is this exploitation that he might does with his castmates that maybe is, I don't know, a little bit predatory or like, you know, money hungry, like, you know what I'm saying? Um and maybe he needs to just go back to what his natural purpose was. I think, because I know he's very big on making sure he's saying that the comments don't run the show, and you know what happens on social media, like the show is not gonna like play to that, which that's all true, you know, but again, we off balance with the way that things occur. It might be the time lapse. It might, and clearly this is the time lapse, because there was a time lapse between, I guess, them filming and Melody feeling how she feel, being able to be exposed. But it's like we always playing catch up, you know, with him.
So what do you?
Mhm.
So what do you think about the them honoring or memorializing Kiki?
I felt it go back to that same thing. We seem out of balance, out of pocket. We kept asking. Remember, we was just asking that, like, we wonder when, and I felt like they would, and I think I might have mentioned that, like, oh, I guess it's gonna come at the third part. But even that, it felt like an afterthought. I felt like, I don't know why this memorial that Tisha set up, why that wasn't a part of the season. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Does it have something to do with the time frame? Because it like the time lapse is off either way it go. You know what I mean? But clearly they did that at some point, because she had all of the castmates there. I can't say that I saw Mel.
Mel or Martell was not there.
Okay. That's what I'm gonna say. I can't say that I saw that, but at the same time, I feel like it's clear that it was filmed.
So I'm gonna play the clip. So I'll play the clip and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
So here we go.
Huntsville reunion special. This season has definitely been a roller coaster, but nothing shocked us more than the unexpected passing of our beloved cast member, Kiki Jabbar. As a family member and close friend, Kiki's personality and passion brought some much needed levity and joy to the show. So we thought it was important to take a.
Ain't that about nothing? It's loading. Come on. I don't know.
Wow. Look, my little lights going
Let's
crazy.
See. If I can get it to go. Well, whatever. It's just low. I don't know. Well, I'll take it off and see what I can see later. But anyways, during that, I thought that when I noticed the little memorial that she did for her, that's the first thing I noticed, that Mel and Martell was not there. I would have thought maybe not Martell, because if they was going to invite Mel, and plus by this time I think everybody's into it with Martell, right? By the time she dies.
Well, no, they should have always been, which it was interesting, the side that was on that side and on the other side. So we'll, you know, talk more about that. But I thought that was interesting, like, because I didn't think Neil and Chris should have been on that side. So, you know, but yeah, I thought they had always been into it with Martell.
Yeah. So I would have had thought maybe Melody would have been there, but then I think one thing too, they were all hopping in the comments, because they stay on social media looking. And I remember when she passed away, and then people were blaming Melody too. And I mean, it was just kind of just weird, like how Melody used her, supposedly used her to get at Tisha. And then people were talking about Tisha, that's why she made it a point to say that she would never, if she's into it with someone she loves, that to thinking you got tomorrow and not knowing that tomorrow may never come. And so she wants to always try to, move past it, talk about it and move past. Mm-hmm. I said, because I felt really, when I heard that Kiki had passed, I felt sorry for them, especially how they were going in on Tisha. But what got me and made me cry was Stormy and how she paid for the funeral. I'm like, wow. And how, I mean, that was real big of her.
I think Stormy is a sweetheart, and that, like, her exiting the show is a good thing, because I think we're not honest about the fact that reality TV just really isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there is a formula like that, and you have to have a thick enough skin to go through it. You know what I mean? Like, because it just is what it is, in that sense. But and so it's funny that I felt like, even though I didn't know that information, but I didn't feel surprised. Because I have that feeling about her. She's a sweetheart, and I felt bad about her. I felt bad about her introduction to this show, because I think it did play, and Destiny did not help in that. But she, I guess, found somebody that she felt she could put a little bit lower than her, I guess. But she was introduced, and she was introduced in this way that was made to kind of diminish her. Mm-hmm. And going back to her exit, and like I said, even with her paying for the funeral, because that touched me too. But like I said, I didn't feel surprised. Like, I did feel like I felt like that was a lot of her character, and I wasn't surprised that she had done that. Because she did take to Kiki, and even what I feel like what we saw from her when it came to Kiki was genuine, because she's looking at something happening, which, going back to what I'm saying about Carlos, in some way is sometimes being exploitative. Like, and now I'm jumping to a reference for Potomac, but we talk about how Mia is exploiting her own family. And she is, to be quite honest, because she's giving all the information. Now, everybody else is just following along because that's what they do. But on this end, it felt like there's an issue to be had. We can use Destiny and Sonny and Moses, because he very much admitted that he was the one that said, well, reach out to Sonny and Moses to see if they want to come on, which is exploitative of her relationship. But going back to Kiki, so, So it's kind of like, like I said, I think I wasn't surprised that Stormy did that. I think Stormy is a sweetheart. I think she was introduced to this show wrong. I think she was introduced to be made to look like she was less than somebody else, or in some way, like, I don't even want to use the phrase.
Less than whom? Mel?
No, just in general. Like when and I say Destiny didn't make it any better, because when she kind of made fun of her accent and stuff, I think that she was just kind of be made to be something else. Like, you like you said, like she wasn't smart, or like she didn't have anything, or I don't.
Yeah, because when she came on, remember, it was because the Melody did the video at her home. So therefore, Destiny, you had no room to talk about nobody the way she talks.
Right. Like,
Yes,
but
it has
I
to be.
mean, right. But
Yeah.
that's kind of, do you agree, or am I making that up? Like,
No.
that seemed to be like the peg that, you know what I mean, they were going for with her. And that's why I say I think her exit was warranted, because that's what television does. And so I
Yeah.
think her genuinely, she saw what was going on with Kiki, which is Kiki had an issue with her cousin that was separate from this show, and then it got brought onto
To
this
the
show.
show. Yeah. Yes.
And so, and at that same time, there is, we go back to this core six. Like, and I don't know, well, I think maybe because you don't have a lot of loyal people around anymore or something, but there is something to be said about going back to an original, like, loyalty or where you started. So I do think that Mel being quiet, I think, was out of respect for Tisha. Like,
Okay.
at this point, and at this point in the stage, you know, it's kind of like, maybe I was used as a pawn to get this person on, because this, you know, because at the end of the day, and this, I'm not trying to give Mel no excuses, but she was going through that shit with Martell. And like I said, she had been trying to change the narrative for quite some time. It
Yeah.
was everybody else that really wouldn't let it go. So I think part of Kiki coming on was to usher in other stories. You know what I mean? Like, other than Mel and Martell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't, you know, and like I said, I'm not trying to give her excuses or give her a break or try to act like that wasn't wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying it's television. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what happened. And, you know, sometimes you put your relationships up for grabs, you know, like when it comes up to that, you know,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. And that's why even seeing the memorial in October, knowing that she passed in July, it feels like an afterthought. You gonna
Well,
have
they did have it. They had it on the end of an episode though too.
Well, okay, yeah. So anybody can go back and do that,
Yeah.
right? Like, we watch shows from years ago. The people who passed, you can go back to the episode if it's running somewhere, and they're gonna have a rest in peace at the end. You know, for whatever person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's so that's not really anything. You know what I mean? Because those are the things that can be changed. But the fact that we didn't see that memorial take place during the season, I think, I would love to know why that didn't happen.
Well, I think
Um,
because the family was fighting so. Remember the
I
uncle
don't
got
know.
on?
No, I don't remember. So if anything like that was happening, I wasn't privy to it,
Oh
because
yes, the
maybe I
uncle got
wasn't
on there.
following that type of story. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in my own frame. So that's what I mean. Like, so I'm not sure why it would have gone down the way that it did, but I am saying that even with all that being said, for that to be we know this reunion was filmed in October. So if you were going to include it, for it to be at the last part, that felt like an afterthought
Yeah.
to me.
But the two sides of the family were arguing. You had excuse me, Kiki's mother's side of the family was arguing with with Tisha's side of the family, the Moores. Is their last name Moore? I think so, yeah. So the mother side of Kiki's family was arguing with her dad's side of the family. And then they came for, like, but the uncle got out there and just was clowning. It seemed like he clowned Tisha, Miss Wanda, and then I think somebody said something about Carlos King. It was just real ugly, and it was kind of all in the YouTube space, you know.
Are you talking about when they did the fish fry or something like that?
No. This is when Kiki died.
Okay.
Yes, and the uncle, they started blaming everybody.
You know, here's the thing. I think that's separate, and then, not to cut you off because I want to hear more about it, but I think that all of that is separate from what you are legally even able to do. So even when after you get ready to tell me the rest of it, what we know, and we know it to be true because they just showed it to us, right?
Mhm.
We know that Tisha went along and had something with those cast members, because where it comes to the family and everything, that's not what we even talking about. We're not talking about, at least I'm not, like whether I wanted to see whatever happened with the family part. I wish we would have saw what they showed us last night. I wish we would have seen that. And I wish that would have played out on the season, not the third part of this reunion, because clearly I think that was filmed more close to probably the passing, because when she passed, they had to be getting ready to film or filming already. And so that's why I brought, even for me, I brought that up about them not mentioning Kiki, because it was just like, well, why? So maybe there was, maybe they could not mention her name going back to these contracts and things. But finish telling me about the family dynamics,
Girl,
because
the family was feuding because I guess when they got up on social media and said that she passed, and then Miss Wanda had said it was okay for one YouTuber to announce it. And it was a back and forth. The uncle came out that was on the mama side, came out and dogged the whole Tisha, her mama, all of them out. So it was real contentious between the whole family because I think they didn't want Miss Wanda and them to show up to the funeral. It was just ugly, ugly, ugly. And so Carlos, because he mentioned something on his on the Messy Mondays, he did say something, but I don't know, because like I said, that side of the family, her mother's side of the family was very they were lashing out at everyone. And I don't know if Carlos just wanted to kind of stay out of it because they felt like she had been misused and abused and was the cause of her demise, this TV show. So
that's all relative. You know what I mean? Because I think you could feel that way. But again,
I don't know, but it was in
it's
the
all about
blog.
having, like what we talking about with Trisha. Like I said, she looked nervous and stuff to get a sentence out. To me, that's a person that's not mentally capable of being on television. Because if you can't, it's a lot to take to be on here. I don't know. I'm just saying, black folks. It sounds like black folks doing what black folks do. Listen, that's the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah.
That like
it got to the point the uncle had to come back and apologize online.
I'm sure he did, because again, it sounds like black folks doing what black folks do. And everybody, is a money grubber, and it sucks that it happens during those types of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's, but again, outside of that, it's just like you said, maybe he wanted to stay out of it. He's not going to address it, I don't guess. And so we may never know, what the what's like the Tootsie Roll commercial. The world may never know. Shoot, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? But like I said, my general opinion is that even with it being, if it was the fact that it was included in the reunion, I'm glad that it was. I'm glad that we didn't get through a part 3 and there was not any mention, because it seemed to have been going that way. That they're like, and so here we go again with what my running theme through this whole live seems to be that something is missing. We missed, like, it felt like we got this third part and it was just thrown in there, just placed in there, and anything was given to us all out of place, all out of socket. Because even still with that, you didn't mention anything about it during the season. So you get all the way to the third. That again, I think it would have been more respectful if you was gonna wait to the reunion to bring it up. And then I know it sucks that I would have a more respectful way. Like, why bringing her up ain't good enough? You know, like at least they acknowledge her. Like, right? I know I'm so extra, but I do think that it should have been done at the top of the reunion. Why is it that we spent one half of that first part of the reunion on Martell versus Martell when you had a whole cast member that passed away, been passed away at this point, and you sitting on this, you know what I mean, this memorial package. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that because it would have been a nice. I thought.
now I don't know if you feel like doing something like that would it taint the rest of the mood? Is that why? Like, am I out of pocket for saying it should have been at the top of the show? Maybe I am where it comes to the flow of how you want your audience to feel. Well, I'm sorry. Now go ahead. Let me just
well, maybe because he wanted to tie it into them. You know, maybe you may not get along now, but to be able to come back together and get along. It doesn't take for somebody to die and then we feel this way or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of over it. But I wish I could have played it. But I will say that Melody was in a situation she would have been damned if she do it, damned if she don't, so I guess she just figured I'd be quiet so that way they can't use my
Well,
words.
I think that was the best move as far as I'm concerned. Like I think where I go back to, and I keep saying it because I think that once people start to pick up and pay attention, well, Mel won't be a part anymore. But even if you're watching old episodes, you will see those little moments where they just like give and I think it is just a part of maintaining that core, just whatever that bond is, whatever it is about whatever. Kimmy brought it up on this third part. She was, and rightfully so, about the room. Sorry, we going back to the girls trip, but like she said, like it's not about being OGs. She like, it's the fact that we filmed with her for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and because she wanted this to happen, and that is what I'm talking about. Like, you have to know that there are going to be some glimmers and moments of somebody just going to give it to the other person, really because you owe it to them. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what, in this case, that's what it is. At least that's what I want to believe, because I do want to believe that Mel has a good heart. I don't think she's malicious about anything that she does. Do I think she can be cold and upfront in that? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But I tell people this a lot because I think I had to realize it myself, and I'm still doing that as I move through or want to do different things. But you don't get to certain places in your life being passive and kind, and you know what I mean, like everywhere and all the time. Like, you like, some people not gonna like you, you know what I mean? And sometimes they gotta be okay, like it's just gotta be okay.
Yes.
Whether I did what you said or not, like it can't even matter. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's what most people have a problem with when it comes to Mel. I was telling Mom, I said, I've learned to think, sometimes I just think about who it is that is saying, like, oh, well, I don't like this person, I don't like that person, or whatever. Like, I'm more interested in who they are and what reasons they have for certain things. You know what I mean? Like, we all can disagree and have different likes and this and that, but there are some things that I feel like we all are pretty, level-headed about.
Okay. So what would you give the reunion as a whole? She said tied and through.
Just because we're sitting here talking about it didn't mean it changed. Actually, I really actually, it is a very low score for me. I am really overall disappointed in this reunion. And like I said, and it makes me go back to the season. Because again, if this is what y'all had to give, then it kind of speaks a lot about, what previous. And so it's like, throw the whole season in the garbage. Real talk, but no, I think I don't even know if I think I'll give it a 5 just out of like formality, but did
Okay.
it have anything that I was looking for? Or no, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Tired and through is what it was given. I don't know what the hell Carlos King been ranting about on these messy Mondays, talking about we was gonna get this and so like he was pumping that shit up, and it was a straight failure.
Yes. So now let's go on to the next reunion that's being filmed this week. And
Mm-hmm.
that is Married to Medicine. And we know that Phaedra Parks did not show. She says, I know you're sick of me. Unfortunately, there is no medicine for obsession. What you think about that?
Here we go again with like, I don't know when the reality stars start like, I don't know, writing their own like thing. I think it's a flop. Um, I don't know if her showing up to the reunion one way or the other I don't know that she added anything to the season that she needs to be at the reunion for. I'll say that. But at the same time, it just, when do y'all start writing y'all own damn story? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what, like, and I know that sounds funny because it's reality TV, but you was on the show, why wouldn't you show up to the reunion? And what makes you so much better, that you came? Again, maybe she I'm sure she didn't add much, but
Because she led people to think she was going to show up because she was there in New York.
I think she thinks it's a boss move. I think it's coward.
I
Like,
definitely think
like that. I think that's my overall. I don't find that empowering that you got on. Like, and no matter, like, we'll go back to, I know that the hierarchy. Like Real Housewives of Atlanta is kind of like the thing. The housewives in general, just have the higher, and it sucks when it comes to Married to Medicine, because going back to even Love and Marriage Huntsville, like, just to tie that in, what I was saying about them having quite a few, engineers and architects and these things that we don't get to see a lot of us be, you know what I mean, and live in. And my intrinsic value values that more than the that opulence
Uh-huh.
lifestyle. But I'm addicted to both. Like, I want to see both. But anyway, so I think she thought it was just some move to kind of thumb her nose up, you know what I mean, at the Married to Medicine girls. And I didn't feel like it was a boss move at all. You look like a coward. And I feel like you've already been proven to be a coward. And you being asked back, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything other than you didn't have a motherfucking thing else going on. Ooh, sorry. You didn't have shit else going on, and you was available. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That's what it says to me. It doesn't say that you was doing so much they had to come knocking down your door. No, it says you wasn't busy at all.
Yeah. And also, because the one who teased us back and forth about maybe coming to the reunion versus not coming was Sweet Tea. And I'm like, girl, we know you coming. So we know she was there. But she's been out here talking about Quad. Now she's talking about Toya. And listen to this one here. We'll play this one real quickly.
Gregory's ex. when I didn't know her. She wanted me to go work with Gregory Sex when I didn't know her. I was like, I don't understand why, because I don't know her. Why would I be upset? There's no reason to be upset, and there's no beef. And it's just strange, having these people, try to get me on the show and come together and hey, and open the door and with, open arms to welcome me. And then all of a sudden just flip at a switch randomly, like just to invite me on to bully me. And I just feel like I was just a penny to them. I was just a dollar sign. And so.
So they could make more money for another season. They got more money off your back.
Yeah, they got more money. They did get more money off my back. I think that it was just, they wanted to use me. So, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's very disappointing because these are people that I've had at my house. I've never seen many desperate people, with jobs, careers, professions like being doctors, that desperate for a storyline. So everybody wants to ask, am I going to the reunion? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I still gotta talk it over with Gregory and how we're gonna show up, if we're gonna show up. I really don't know. I really don't know. Because
girl, what you think?
Listen, I think I said it now. I think I said this in the last review I did for Married to Medicine, and I probably said it the previous one before that and the previous one before that. Because it was clear. Let me go grab my charger real quick.
Yes, it is clear that Sweet Tea she's not cut out for a reality TV, in my opinion, at all. Yeah, she's over here.
Okay,
doing
sorry.
The woe is me. She doing the woe is me, girl. She's not cut out for reality.
I said this. It was clear to me that I understood exactly what they did from last season, which was, they got her on, Dr. Heavenly included, Hathaway, whatever. Because Dr. Heavenly clearly is self-producing herself and the rest of the ladies. So it was clear to me that the way that they got Sweet Tea to even consider being on was because they convinced her that they were done with Quad. And her coming in, they would be, and the thing is, it's documented. Like, you can see them usher her in. You know what I mean? Like, as a friend.
Yeah.
She not making that up. You know what I mean? That like I think that she's getting that same type of rap I talked about with Stormy, which is, and the same rap that Quad got also as she entered in with Mariah, which is like, we got to show her the way. You know what I mean? She don't really know. She from this country. You know what I mean? Woo, woo, woo.
Pumpkin,
And then they end up turning on her because Quad made up. Because the thing, and Funky Dineva says this all the time, but it's very true. People don't realize that, like, people will just side with people because they like them. And they don't really, like, it may not be right. You know what I mean? Like, and they may not have a good reason for liking them. But and I think that's where Quad comes in, that she just has more of a likable personality. So she say, I'm sorry, and here they go. Because I don't think that Quad needs to be on Married to Medicine. And that's an unpopular opinion. Which that's probably, I need to do a live on it, but that's unpopular opinion. And it's not because I don't like Quad. I do like her. I just believe what the lady's gripe is about her, and it seems to be that way. She doesn't fit in with them. It does seem like you just film with them. That's not what we're here to look at, even as a viewer. That's not what I want to see. And so she's just getting listen, she's waking up, she's realizing, and she regurgitating it all on social media. because she don't know no better, right? She doesn't know the ropes of how to move and how to do, you know. So here we go. And I just laugh at that damn Jamie, honey, because honey, you make a penny off all these ladies too, don't you? Because you get around, child.
Yes, Lord. Yes, you do. And I mean, I just feel like, you was coming on reality TV. Like you said, she got to play the game. So
I
either
think
she
that
gonna
people
play the
are
game.
very naive to what the game is. And let's think about it. Like, let's not like real talk. Let's not be so, you know what I mean, like judgmental to think that even though like you don't know until you in it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what she's dealing with, really. Like, I think, like you say, the idea of reality TV is a lot different than reality TV, I believe.
Yeah.
And it is hard to go through things 3 times.
Yeah. Yes. So here we have the seating arrangement for the Married to Medicine reunion there. So we have Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone. I guess they're considered the medicine. So they're sitting right next to Andy. Then we have Quad and Toya, Sweet Tea and Dr. Heavenly, and then Dr. Contessa.
Womp womp womp.
Yeah.
In the dum dum.
So I think like you said, Phaedra, she got out of there because she knew they was gonna be coming for her. And then because she knew all along about Apollo coming on this trip and this, that, the other, and about that check getting there a month later, and about that guy
right, yeah.
that she met on the speed dating that she already knew. Because I had to think about it, because most people don't film with people they don't know. You know what I'm saying? To go on this big platform, film with a guy that you don't know because you don't know what he may say, and then to bring him on a couples trip
with a bunch of other people you don't know. Yeah, right.
So yeah, so whatever.
Well, I don't like I think Andy has more to answer to, in a sense, because what I think about in this way is that these are employees at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And so not showing up again, I'm not sure that your presence took much away from what it is these ladies have to talk about. With, you know what I'm saying, whether you there or not, because she's not main character necessarily, but it does give this, it's just this energy about you moving that way that just feels a little bit, I'm not sure where she got this little sprinkle of, authority. Yeah, authority, I think.
Yeah, well, evidently that contract wasn't, coming to the reunion, and maybe she sat, and you think maybe she did like a little video down there, and they're going to play that. Because it seems like they would not have let her skip the reunion and go and film on Raw.
Well, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's still an employee, to Bravo, and I would think that I don't know, like, was she allowed to do that? You know what I mean? And so, like I say, I know she's her own person, and so I can go where I want to go. You know what I mean? Type of deal, energy. But it just feels like this. Like, I don't know why he allowed it. And yeah, and it does give like you somewhere throwing around your muscle. Now this is what it's really giving, and she probably needs to watch out on that. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to warm me up some more spaghetti. But it's giving this type of energy that maybe, however way they got her to agree to come back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, because even with the talks of it, I wonder what the proximity of Candy leaving and them discussing Phaedra coming back was. I wonder if there was something given to Phaedra that was that pumped her head up, like she was needed to come back onto Real Housewives of Atlanta, because we're not going to play like this is not a soft reboot, of that show. So because that's the energy she giving to me, and I'm like, what they say, she giving main character energy, and I'm not trying to hate on Phaedra, but Phaedra is not main character. She might be supporting character. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to hate on her. She's
she was
not main
Brenda.
character energy, like at all. But that's like, this is that type of move to
Yeah.
me, even though it's coward, because I think they feel like because main characters that see Lisa Vanderpump, her leaving, see, because what you do is you never like it's the way you do it. Anyway, but yeah, it feels coward. Because this was your step. I don't know. It feels coward. If you think so lowly about these girls, I don't see why you couldn't show up. But it feels like she wanted to make it like a dig to, like, she don't have to, type of deal. And really, you just look like the liar and the coward that we all know you to be. But somehow nobody really wants to remind you of that. Unless the producers got something in where it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know. We'll see, huh?
So then we also have the news of Apollo and Shireen getting a divorce. And come to find out that actually when they filmed this past summer, they were already separated, because they got separated in 2023 November.
Okay.
So, but he brought her on the trip. I said, oh, that couple's trip didn't keep them together at all. And why did she have so much energy for Phaedra? Miss Shireen, who was a alleged side chick.
Well, she was something.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all.
She said she's trying to eat. So I'm going to play real quick. I'm going to let it kind of run. I'm not going to play it because I don't want them dinging me, because sometimes they do or sometimes they don't. I don't know. But when Shireen walks in, I'm like, girl, you knew you was coming here. Well, maybe she didn't know. But girl, I would have had on a swimming suit that was real flattering. You could tell she's kind of holding her stomach in and the way she walked. Oh my goodness. But so they come on the boat trip. It's, I guess Phaedra is upset that Apollo came on the boat trip. Because and I think that's what because people were like, she's upset, but she already knew about it. But her thing is him coming on the boat trip while she has this other guy, which is the other guy that she knows. I mean, that Apollo knows, because he's eating he ate Thanksgiving with Apollo. Because he used to date.
And he literally did say that, though, while he said, and I think that's on one of my lives. See, I'm telling y'all got to make sure you subscribe and watch these reviews, because I'll be pointing it out. Because I said that he said, yeah, I'm very close to them. And so she started to ask another question, and it was kind of like this question that would kind of downplay the I'm very close. Because I'm like, well, how is it that you on this end, you don't really talk to them that often? But the very first thing was that I'm very close with him and his partner, him and his wife or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, he said that flat out.
Yeah, so that's them all coming in. Yeah, so that's them coming to the thing, and Phaedra's talking about how, knowing that she had her date there, why would Dr. Heavenly invite him on to that boat trip? I said, well, he was already there. So, and then plus they all knew each other.
That she invited Apollo. The problem was nobody knew you was bringing this random.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Shaq and Shireen. So, well, so Shaq supposed to have dated
Good
Shireen's
one.
sister, and I don't know. I said, but the whole thing is funny. They were even together. They had actually filed for separation. Now she's filed for divorce, I think, on February the 7th, saying abuse and infidelity. So that's that on them. And then I'm gonna do the last one, so you're gonna eat in peace. The last thing I saw that was in the blogs that I thought was worth mentioning was the lawsuit against Jay-Z and Puffy by the girl who was 13 has been dismissed. It's dismissed. So let's see here. So I'll just show that right there and I'll read it. It says the lawsuit. Okay, it says the assault lawsuit against Jay-Z and Sean Combs has been dropped. The lawsuit accused them of R-ing a 13-year-old girl in the 2000, according to the courtroom documents filed on Friday in New York federal court. A lawyer for the anonymous accuser moved to dismiss the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it can't be refiled. Further details were disclosed in a statement posted online. Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, called the allegations frivolous, fictitious, and appalling. He added, "This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable, and if not for the seriousness of the claims." And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the only thought I actually had from the beginning was, if there's any way to fight for yourself where there might be a lawsuit against you, in a sense of there doesn't need to be a lot of proof given to be able to file a lawsuit and stuff like that, I think the only way that you respond to that, in a case of where you're fighting for your, your innocence or what have you, would be to go for the person who has taken on the case. Um, and I think with that, there comes the proof of burden, you know what I mean? Or burden of proof, excuse me. And so it's dismissed. You know what I mean? Like I that's the way I feel. Like, okay, you know what I mean? And then on to the next. Like, I'm not looking for there to be any guilt. Um, So, okay, it's dismissed. If there is, then I guess it'll come out in some way, a different way. But I do think that story didn't seem to make a lot of sense, but we can't really get into all of these extra questions and things because then you get pegged in some way. So again, I think he defended himself in the best way he could, and it turned out, in his favor. So
Yes, I think also too, once Jay-Z's attorney went through and did a play-by-play of what this girl said her accounts were. So he used her words, and then he actually went and got the proof showing that, because she said she watched the VMAs on the Jumbotron. He went to see if there was any what is that they have to get? Lord, I can't think of the word on my tip of my tongue. Were there any
like records or videos?
Yeah, because they didn't have one at that time. They didn't have it. So then they also went back to say, because she said that it took her 20 minutes to get from the VMAs to this supposedly house of Puffy's. And then they was like, if we're doing the 20 minutes and all this stuff had to happen by whatever time she said it was. They said, first of all, it was not no White House in those areas. They said, and at the time, Puffy he didn't live in a house. He lived in the different, buildings or whatever. And also she stated that she had to walk from the house to a gas station. And being, I'm from a small town. So there's usually, the housing addition, there's some gas stations not far apart, So, but she didn't think about this is, these people are wealthy. They're not living nowhere near these little Amicos or Shell's gas stations or whatever. Then also they pointed out the fact that her own father said he would have remembered if he had to drive 5 hours away to go and pick her up from a gas station. And then what gas station attendant would let some naked 13-year-old white girl sit there that long of a time crying or whatever,
Right.
and no one calls the police.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a time where, they said believe women at all costs, but there's a lot of people that want to get money too. So once she did,
that's my point, with the way that he handled it.
Yes.
I think the way that you handle stuff does say, a lot about you. And so, because we know that lawyers and things will take on civil cases.
Yeah.
And really it's only because they expect to get paid in some way. And so when he filed the suit against the lawyer, that, like I said that was smart, because now you have to put that on the lawyer. And so now that lawyer really does have to now prove that what the case he's taking, is even a case.
Because he said she was verified by another attorney that sent her to them. And I'm like, if this other attorney thought she had a good case, they would have kept them themselves,
Right, exactly.
So I thought, okay, well, I hate that. I haven't really talked about a whole lot of the Diddy and all that kind of stuff. I said, because I almost feel like, oh God, my whole little, all your little party scenes. I said, we're gonna I can't listen to this kind of music or listen to that. I said, when you see these people, you're a little younger than me, but my whole 20s, Puffy had just gotten out, came out and everything, the Jay-Z. I'm like, God, dog, this is what they do. I mean, I almost feel like there's some weird alternate universe that these guys live in. That's,
I think it's strange that it's funny to me because this is where I think where I sit. I agree, Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Music and Mary J. Blige and, Faith Evans and everything after that 112. These are people I listen to and today on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have a lot to do with the timeline of my life,
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm saying that to say is I'm not going to let necessarily what they do as people, like somehow taint, like my experience, like that I went through listening to their music. You know what I mean? Like those are two separate things, number one. And I know that it's more about the support, like what I say, quotation marks.
Yeah.
But listen, I think it always sounds so gullible and naive to me. Because I'm trying to think, like, where is there this place where these people exist and you think that there is not something happening? Oh, excuse me. That's beyond your knowledge. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know. It's kind of like, like I didn't expect it to be this per se, but I guess it always seemed like a secret society, and like I don't know, like, and I think we read it in the Bible, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
So like when we get into those things, that's what, like, I talk about this about a lot of different things. Like sometimes I'm always interested in the why from a person, not like and from their intrinsic part of why, not the excuse or the reason, but like, well, why is that a desire in you? So because I think that's where you get to, because money just kind of gives you the ability to reach things easier, faster. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Yeah.
And like I said, I watched the documentary on I watched it on Max, but I think it's Investigation Discovery that's doing it. And the odd part about it is that all of the information that's coming out, I mean, it's all information we already knew. You know what I mean? Same when it comes to R. Kelly, same, you know what I mean? So it's not even something that was like, oh my God. Like now we have buzzwords and things that are being
Yeah.
used that changes it and makes it different because it changes what your outlook is on what it is we already had known and heard and played out in court and played out in the press and all of that. Every dog has a day, as the old folks say. So and all that's done that comes to the light. Like I just think that there are these things we live by and they are true, and those are, and that's just, we just living in that time frame. But as far as the music I listen to, again, and when it comes to R. Kelly, like I don't necessarily go seek out his music. You know what I mean? But if it comes on and I'm somewhere and I want to bop to it, then that's
I
what
play
I'm
it.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still play
Yeah.
it. I still play it. But I thought about okay, the attorney, but Tony Bugsby, and how when he actually had an ad that, if you ever been somewhere around Puffy or whatever, allegedly, to call his 1-800 number, right? And
Yeah,
then he
like some damn like feed the children or feed the homeless type of hotline or
yes,
something. What?
yes, and then he came out and said he had over 100 and some people who had allegations against him. I'm like, what? And then, because even when he came out with this girl about Jay-Z, he said he had boys too. And I'm like, all these people, because he's located in Texas, this guy is. I said, and you can tell me that because one person that had a claim against Puffy was from like 1990. I was like, Puffy was not Puffy or P. Diddy in 1990. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have, hell, I didn't even know him in 1990. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
might have
but
been
you
behind
gotta
some music,
remember he
but
was
he wasn't.
working for Andre Harrell, so he wasn't
Yeah,
Bad
he
Boy.
got
He
fired though.
wasn't Bad Boy CEO, but he was a record
Yeah,
exec. You know what I mean, for a big record company.
yeah, but he got
I mean,
fired.
listen, I don't really, and I have to be honest. I be careful about even some of the stuff that I let, I don't know, even entertain. And some of that, I kind of guess I put it in the like political like corner, like, the same thing. Cause it's like, I don't really want to get into what's true and what's not true because I have no idea. I don't know
It's
this
hard.
man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, all I do know is the music he brought. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's
Yeah,
why it's kind of like, well, I'm not about to let that change, you know what I mean? Like what the music played a role in my life. Like, I'm not finna let that happen. But at the same time, I'm gonna let this stuff play out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I believe one thing or another. Because I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I mean. When it came to Jay-Z, it's just like, well, the best way to, uh defend yourself, in my opinion, was the way that he did. And so
yes,
and so here we go. Here we are. I don't like, sometimes I feel, and maybe this is me being closed-minded, but sometimes I feel like when people are very like, oh, like what you think? Because I remember even somebody close to me was kind of like, oh, well, you think this gonna take Beyonce down? And it's kind of like, well, how do we get all the way there? You know what I'm saying? But but it does feel like there are a group of people that just have a need to see people
Go down.
fall. Yeah, you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like it, and I don't identify with that. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I don't really like feed into it a great deal. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Because that's the
Um
same thing that Funky Dineva had said. Because when the stuff was happening with Puffy, then a lot of people were just saying Jay-Z next, Jay-Z next. He said,
yeah, like would it be like how
said,
the hell we like boogie all the way down to Jay-Z?
yes.
Like,
You
well,
know,
okay,
he said, he would say, that's got to be a sad group of people to want the downfall of something. If there's something there, then of course, but not to just say, okay,
that's
we're
what
gonna
I mean, and that's what I say. Like I don't really want to get into a debate anywhere, where it's like, well, I think, whoa, whoa, whoa. Not unless I do think, you know what I mean? Like if I do think whoa, 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 then I'll say, that. But in this case, no, like I don't have an opinion about who did what and if they did and if they didn't, like I don't know because I don't know this person like at all. Like I
Yes.
don't know. And I hope that, and I want to leave space for whatever did or whatever needs to, happen for it to come out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
exactly.
it's wrong if it happened, and that's that. I don't know what a person need with 1,000 bottles of baby oil. You are right. You know what I mean? I think it's despicable if a person has laced those things allegedly. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I think that, I think it's despicable that a person would do something like that. And it really, which is probably what feeds my love of reality TV. Because I think I mentioned this before. I think I realized that I don't know if people watcher is the right term, but I think that's a part of people watching. I think that I watch a lot of documentaries, even where it comes to true crime documentaries and things like that, because a lot of me is always wanting to understand. You know what I think that's part of that feeding, my curiosity
Yes.
about people in a certain way. You know what I mean? So, which is why I watched the documentaries. And that's funny because I was talking to a client and I said, well, I watched the latest Diddy documentary. And her funny thing, she said, it wasn't good. And so I said, well, I don't know if it was good. You know what I mean? Like, like know how to say that, because some maybe you can say like, oh, it was good, but for that case, like I don't know that it was good, but it was a documentary, and part of me watching it was just to see, the information that's being presented from whatever perspective to see what it is being said. You know what I mean? Like, okay, fine, because again, I think I do have this just need to understand more than anything. Now, like I said, once I make my judgment about something, I usually don't fold from that, but I usually do try to get understanding before I make a judgment most times.
Yes. I do the same thing. I kind of view things critically, and then, but like I said, was a lot of bloggers that was all over that, and I just said it's just, to me it was just too depressing to hear. Just to keep hearing regurgitated this, that, and what all was in the book and this. I'm like, oh my God, I'd like to hear, if you're gonna cover it, but then you have
I have a short that I did do about Diddy, and it was in reference to his to the video statement that he put out.
Yeah.
So and real, like, you could go through my YouTube. Actually, that's the only thing that I had that I have even referencing any of it. You know what I mean? At all. And really, and it was because I didn't like that. And what I didn't like was that it was circulating that this was some sort of apology video. And so I'm like, it's not an apology. Like, he made a statement. So that was kind of, because I think more what I get pissed off with is sometimes the reporting, because I know everybody are not critical thinkers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so sometimes you put things out and they just take it the way that it is. And so that's where I was like, well, I listened to the video and I didn't hear an apology. What I heard, well, I was him doubling down, like, you know,
yeah,
like, and kind of saying like, well, I was in a bad place, and that was a statement. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't an apology.
yeah,
Let's be clear. You know what I mean? That's what that's what I was talking about. Because again, I'm not. It is what it is. He like, and if he did wrong, he deserved to pay for it. That's just that.
yeah. I said I don't got a dog in the fight, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's just that to me.
yeah. I said, but when I came across that, I said, well, I guess I mentioned that because it was in the blogs. So tonight we got to gear up for Married to Medicine, and then in the next couple of before Married to Medicine, there will be Potomac's reunion.
Oh yeah, reunion part 1. Finally, we get to this. Oh Lord.
And no Karen, but Ashley brought the picture. And also in the blogs was Ashley divorces final.
Oh yeah, we did see that. I mean, well, kudos to Ashley.
So
about time.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: what I'm okay with Ashley doing, whether it is orchestrated or not, I'm okay with her making sure she try to refreshing her storyline every year. So cool.
Yeah. And so it looks like the storylines for next year is going to be Ashley versus Wendy. Looks like from them going back and forth or whatever Wendy said about Ashley's boyfriend.
Yeah,
and then call him a renter man or whatever. So I'm like, oh goodness. But yeah, that's it. So I'm going to get ready so I can get something to eat like you did.
Okay.
Got my stomach touching my back. But yes, that is our weekly recap. And maybe we said Wednesday we'll be looking at
Wednesday, March 5th. We're gonna do our live. We're gonna say 6:30 right now, where we're gonna recap Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're gonna basically talk about the Sweet 16 season coming up. It's gonna be myself, Word on the Curb, and we'll have another guest, housewives from a housewife Azara, joining us to discuss Housewives Sweet 16 and everything in between. So we'll be discussing some of our favorite moments from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and just really, enjoying conversation in that. So I want us to start promoting so we can kind of make that big, because I know that Real Housewives of Atlanta is a favorite for many of us.
Yes.
And we just want to take a trip down memory lane,
yes,
and give them, kind of some well wishes as they come into this Sweet 16. Talk about what our expectations are.
Yes. You already see that Candy got to speak on it dropping tomorrow with Shamia.
I wish she'd go sit down somewhere and go do her Broadway thing. God. Okay, go ahead.
I've seen the clips of it, of her Sweet 16. I mean, so she's like really just interviewing Shamia and kind of getting Shamia, to the masses and giving Shamia's backstory and, and how she had to play in Portia's shadow when really Shamia is that girl for real. And Candy said, because really when she started on Housewives, Shamia was a lot richer than what she was.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, okay. So, I kind of seen a little highlights of that. But yeah, she's going to speak on it with her tomorrow. Or it's going to drop tomorrow. Okay. All right. So you get a little backstory on her. So whoever was interested in that. But okay then. So thank you guys for watching. If you catch the replay, please like, share, and subscribe. And check out Brandy's channel. Is on there in the handle. And we'll come back to you on the 3rd. And hopefully we'll be doing these weekly recaps on Sundays.
Right. And catch myself and Housewife Azara Monday at 2 p.m. for Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine recap.
Yes. Well, I thank you for your time. Good night. And
good night. Happy Sunday.
Yes. Good night. Find a thing and play that.